Let me ask you a very honest question. Have you ever been in a marriage where nothing is wrong, but nothing is truly alive anymore? There are no serious fights, no infidelity issues, no open conflicts. But you still feel something like emotional distance. You feel that your partner is not, you and your partner, you are not that close anymore. You still talk, you still function, you are still living under the same roof, but there is no warmth. The warmth that you guys once felt is gone. And if you're honest, you may describe it in one of these sentences. We are not fighting, but we are not close anymore. Or you can say we are just managing things. Or you can even say, I feel like we are roommates, not partners. Now, here is the truth most people never recognize. That many marriages are not dying from crisis. They are dying from accumulation. And that accumulation has a name. And that is what we intend to name it today. And the name that is called is resentment. Not loud resentment, not dramatic resentment, but that silent emotional depth that builds up over time. And in this video, I want to help you to understand something deeply important. Why love fades even when nobody did anything majorly wrong. My name is Dr. Solomon Arasah, and I'll be helping you to understand this from my years of working with couples in counseling and marriage restoration session. One pattern that I have seen remain constant is that people don't usually fall out of love suddenly. They drift out of connection slowly, and the engine behind that drift is often not incompatibility. It is not financial pressure sometimes. It is not even communication problem alone. It is an unprocessed resentment that becomes emotional distance. Now, let me be very clear from the beginning that resentment is not just anger. See, resentment is what happens when someone hurts you. It is what you never addressed properly. Resentment is not is those things that you never repaired emotionally, and then life moves on as if nothing happened. But you know something, but in your heart, something just moves. And in today, I want to speak to this issue in three parts. First, what resentment really is in marriage. Two, I'm going to be also looking at how it is quietly destroying emotional connection in your relationship. And thirdly, how couple can actually reverse this. Because if you miss this, you may spend years trying to fix a marriage with a wrong tool. So let me now go by defining it properly. Resentment in marriage is the emotional accumulation of unresolved pain, unmet expectations, and repeated emotional invalidation. So let me put it simply this way. Resentment is what happens when you feel hurt, you didn't feel understood, you didn't feel the need to repair that misunderstanding, and over time your heart begins to keep records, not consciously but emotionally. Now, and this is important because resentment is not always expressed. That's the problem. In fact, most dangerous resentment is a silent resentment because it does not shout. It does not shout. It only withdraws. Now, let me show you how this works internally. So, at first, it looks like it's nothing that serious. Let me just ignore it. I don't want a fight. I don't want a conflict. But what happens internally is this, that there is now emotional withdrawal. So emotional withdrawal begins. Trust begins to reduce slightly. Warmth reduce also slightly. Sensitivity increase slightly. Then over time, you no longer react to the present moment. You are reacting from the place of accumulated memory. You are responding from that place of accumulated memory. So your spouse says a thing, but your response is shaped by 5 years of unresolved moments. That, my friend, is resentment. Now, let me show you how resentment is formed in most marriages. Now, there are 4 primary pathways of resentment that resentment shows itself. One is unresolved conflict. Not every conflict in your marriage destroys marriages, or not every conflict destroys marriages, yes, but unresolved conflict does. Now, when the issues are never truly settled, you just pause and they don't disappear. What happens is that they accumulate. 2, there's emotional neglect. This is one of the most underestimated causes of resentment. It's not abuse. It's not betrayal. It's not their absence from your life, but it is the lack of emotional attention. It is the lack of affirmation, the lack of presence. So one partner slowly begins to feel like, I am all alone in this relationship. You see, when your emotion or your relational boundaries are repeatedly ignored. For example, I told you this hurts me. I told you I don't like this. I expressed my concern, but nothing changes. So when all of these begin to accumulate, eventually what happens is that the heart stops speaking. You're talking, but the heart stops speaking. Not because it is healed, but because it is tired. It is tired. So many spouses give time, they give energy, they give support to their partner. They even practice patience, emotional labor. They put in the work to ensure that the marriage is sustained. But it is never acknowledged. So when all of those things are not acknowledged, there is no appreciation, there is no recognition for all the effort, no emotional validation for the effort that they are putting in. Over time, the inner message that the heart receives is this: what I do is not seen. What I feel does not matter. And that is the vital ground for resentment to begin to grow in your marriage. So now let us talk about the effect that this have, what resentment actually does to your marriage. Having understood what resentment is and what it looks like, what is the effect? Because you see, resentment does not stay emotional, it becomes behavioral. So one, emotional withdrawal, and you begin to notice that the person is physically present, but they are emotionally absent. Their conversation becomes short, becomes transactional, they become mechanical. Second sign is that you begin to lose emotional safety. When resentment increases, emotional safety decreases. So people begin to stop becoming vulnerable. They stop opening up, because vulnerability Let's be real. It's risky again for this person. So the third thing that happens in your marriage is that communication becomes functional. It's not relational, it becomes functional. You still talk, but it's about the bills, it's about the children, it's about logistics, it's about responsibility, but not about feelings, not about your dreams, not about intimacy, not about connection. No, they're all about duty. 4 is that you begin to experience passive aggression. So instead of open communication, you begin to see silence become a punishment. Tone becomes communication, and then withdrawal becomes, constant. So the 5th thing that happens is that physical intimacy declines, not because attraction is gone, but because the emotional connection has been blocked. And here is the truth. You see, most intimacy problems are not physical problems. They are emotional unresolved problems. So, what then are the pathways to healing? Now, let me move to solution, because knowing alone, awareness without restoration is incomplete. So now that you know, what must you start doing? I want to introduce to you the framework that I called the reset model for marital healing. The first, the R, stands for recognize resentment. You cannot, heal from denial. So both of you must acknowledge that something is emotionally unresolved here. E stands for expression, or expressed without attack. Expressed without attack. This is not blame. This is structure expression. When this happens, I feel, that's what you should be saying. What I need at this time was, or what I need at that time was, not accusation, but clarity. S, separation. So you separate the past from the present. See, this is very, very critical. So you need to begin to ask, am I reacting to today or accumulated history? E, you begin to engage repair. So the E in the reset is to engage repair conversation. So the repair conversation is not apology alone, but repair also introduce acknowledgement, validation, responsibility, reassurance, and especially this change in behavior. So the T in the reset framework is transform pattern. So not just the feeling, not just system, communication habit needs to change. Your conflict timing, the emotional check-ins needs to be clear and expressed well. So these things are very important. So let me say this clearly. Most couples are not struggling because they don't love each other. No, that's not it. They are struggling because love is still present, but emotional connection has been blocked by unresolved resentment. And if you do not deal with this issue of resentment directly, what you are going to see is that it will keep, poisoning the mind, poisoning the marriage. It will keep you treating symptom rather than addressing the root cause of the marital issue. And you will keep feeling stuck in this cycle of resentment. But when resentment is addressed properly, what happens is that communication, you will see improvement in communication, intimacy will return, you see emotional satisfaction will come back, and that connection that was once lost, you will begin to regain it once again. So if this message resonates with you, I want you to invite other people to listen to this and share. And I also want to invite you to a structured program where we help couples to identify hidden patterns, to also rebuild emotional connection, to restore communication safely into your marriage. And I call it the guided marital restoration framework. So if you're interested in this, just give a comment on the comment section. Now, you can also reach us through Legacy Coaching and Counseling Limited, or for a structured coaching and counseling support. If you also want, I also have a deeper masterclass where I teach this in a step-by-step clear systems, with systems and tools that can help you to navigate this season very importantly. So if you are interested in the masterclass on any, just type on the comment section interested. You see, because healing in marriage is not just inspiration. It requires structure, it requires guidance, and it is an intentional work for both parties. So if this video helped you, I need you to share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more clarity-driven teachings and relationship tools like this, or information that can truly transform your marriage. Till we see on the next one with Dr. Solomon Arasah, and I want your marriage to succeed. Bye-bye for now.